Hi everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is David Bushman. I'm president of Bridgewater College, and with me today is Andrew Pearson. He's the director of the John Kenney IV Learning Commons. And both of us wish you could be here right now to see this facility, and we know that's not possible, but we want to give you a little bit of a taste of the building and why we're so excited about it and the impact it's having on campus. So not just is it a beautiful building, not just can students and faculty and community members gather inside, but we've got this great outdoor terrace space here. From the outside of the building, you can already see the tower. One of the distinctive architectural features on campus is a brick tower. It's on most of our older buildings, and we wanted to recreate that here on the John Kenney IV Learning Commons to integrate it into campus. It's a modern facility inside and out, but it looks like it belongs. Is that right, Andrew?
Exactly. It began in 2014 with a very comprehensive and thorough evaluation of what the needs were on campus, and we had every part of the campus represented through the committee work, through surveys. We engaged students trying to identify what exactly does our campus need to make this building be successful. And I believe that as you tour this building, you will see that we were successful.
Let's go inside. Let's see the John Kenney IV Learning Commons. One of the most interesting and I think impressive features of the building is the sense of arrival and welcome. This is very much a welcoming facility. Andrew, tell us about this area right here.
Well, this area that we're walking into now is the Cafe Commons. It's centered around the fireplace. It's an idea we took from a couple other places that we've seen, but we wanted to make it a centerpiece of our social experience on this floor.
Andrew's right. Having a cafe, Smitty's Cafe here with a fireplace, food, people sharing meals, people sharing, talking over that is a really special kind of engagement, and it's exactly like you would expect. I've seen students in here, I've seen faculty and community members taking advantage to get a cup of coffee and sit down and talk about something they did in class or something they're planning or their internship. And the ability to do it around a fireplace like that is just an extraordinary, you just don't see this everywhere, and we've been thrilled with how this has turned out. So if you want to do more in the facility than just get a cup of coffee, and I certainly hope you will, you have to go up this grand staircase. And if you remember, if you were in the old Mac library, you'll remember that it had 3 levels, a lower level, a main floor, and an upper level. And we still have all of those, but now the addition of the split level on the addition allows us to create this grand entrance, which really invites people into and welcomes people into this facility. Andrew, take us up and tell us a little bit about the main floor.
And when we come to the main floor, we come to the area that we focus on services and providing services, core services for student success. This allows us to help students right now who need help while they're here at the college, but we're also preparing them for the future for career development as well.
This integration of learning, collaborative learning, but integration of what's going on in the classroom with what's outside the classroom, integration between the undergraduate experience and what's going to happen after they graduate has all been built into this building, and it was a really great design project. And I want to make sure you get this view. Since we were able to create this split level, this view from the main floor, the Mortgage Center for Collaborative Learning down into Smitty's Cafe is just, you don't see this. You just don't see views like this. And again, it has really become a showcase for campus. I'd also point out, and this was another design element that shows up everywhere in the building, we wanted open sight lines. So we wanted not just to bring light into the building, but also within the building for people to be able to see and be seen. Andrew, tell us here, Learning and Research Services, what goes on over here?
They are 2 librarians that work, one with instruction and making sure students learn and know how to do research, and we have another aspect of research support that manages our interlibrary loan and our document delivery for being able to get resources to students that we may not own. In addition to the services, we also have media technology centers, we have a presentation room, and we also have an audio recording room so that students who are working with media have the ability to do their sound recording, but also practice presentations and be preparing for job interviews.
We've really tried to create a space where students can not just access the information they need, but have the support to do something with it.
This is a blended space where we have 3 different services, and they're in a suite design. So the suite, they share a common space that allows them to change and utilize with regard to their programming. So each area can develop the programming they need and shape the space to that particular need. And then again, after hours, students are able to take over the space and use it however they need.
And one final part of the main floor here, the Morger Center for Collaborative Learning, is the Purdue Art Gallery. And so we don't have any exhibits in here right now, but part of a liberal arts college is not just celebration of the sciences and history and literature, but visual arts. And so this gallery will celebrate the work of our students and our faculty. Community artists will bring exhibitions in, certainly. This was where you entered. We've got it arranged now so that we can host events in the gallery without engaging the rest of the main floor, without the rest of the building. So it still has its own separate entrance, but it's really given us some new opportunities. Here we go. We're going to go down from the main level. And again, remember, that was the first floor in the old Mac Library. And again, the addition has been made at grade. And I don't think, until you really come in and appreciate it and look around, that this was ground level. You had to walk up steps to get in, but this is where you entered the library. But now with the addition in the Learning Commons, we have a completely different level, a ground level that really adds both visual and architectural interest to it, but really helps break up the space into discrete areas for different kinds of student and faculty engagement. So again, the staircase, just one of the most extraordinary aspects, architectural design features of the whole facility. And I hope at some point, if you come in and can look up, you can see up and down every single floor, nothing like the original staircases. It's really added something special. And I know Andrew mentioned it, but we've got even study areas here. Again, different places for students, and every student finds their own space. So Andrew, tell us about this level. This is the lower level of the facility. It's the Alexander Mack Memorial Collections. Tell us a little bit about what's down here.
So down here, this is about 80% of our collection is in compact shelving to the left of me. And it's all available manually so students can roll the shelves back and forth to be able to get the items. But we've also tucked in here different kinds of seating and study arrangements for group study. We have some beanbag chairs over in the corner, as well as another set of study carrels over to the right, using, again, additional space so we can enjoy all the light that is coming in that we didn't really have in the old building.
It was, yeah, and that's been really the fundamental design consideration behind the staircase, and the way we laid out the renovation was to bring light into the building. We wanted this to be a place that provided for quiet spaces to study in, certainly, but really to be more open and allow for that engagement. And I know, Andrew, I'm certain every single staff member has done this. I've seen students do it, and I want to make sure everybody gets to see it. Yes, you can just spin these with one hand, and you can get to any part of the collection you need to get to. And so the ability to put the bulk of the bound volumes, the bulk of the Alexander Mack Memorial Collection on the lower level allowed for compact shelving and really creates a much more efficient use of space, I think. And it's let us maximize the real estate, the square footage in the building in some really impressive ways. And I think Andrew was talking about the different zones for studying. And you can see that every place we go has different kinds of furniture, and we're still learning. We'll still add furniture as we see what students like. But again, very different kinds of spaces for students to gather and to study in varying levels of quiet and being together and being apart. So a lot of intentionality. You can see the little post sticking out of the floor. This building has more access to technology. We've got USB connections everywhere, and they're movable. It's flexible, so students can move this furniture around to create different size groups if they're working on a project together. It's not just study space for students down here too. We've actually got some rooms that are another part of the functioning of the John Kenney IV Learning Commons. Our special collections, our archives, and the workrooms here. For a college that values its history the way we do, for a college whose present is informed by its past, the ability to have the special collections, the archives, this working this way has been a really great addition to it. Andrew, tell us a little bit about that space.
This has been a state-of-the-art accomplishment for us. This has been able to bring together several parts of our collection that were scattered around our old library. And by bringing it together here, we have a single place where a special collections librarian can help and assist our students and faculty, but also the public who come in the reading room. We also have set aside a workroom that is designed for use by them to preserve and to take care of our historic documents. And then behind there we have our archives, which exist on the same compact shelving that you've seen already, that allows us to use condensed storage to be able to maintain our history in proper climate control.
So Andrew, I have to ask, how many other private colleges that you know of have a facility like this for their archives and special collections?
I would say very, very few. I'm not familiar with very many.
That's excellent. The right answer is 0 to none, and so I am really proud of this space. This is an excellent addition to the Learning Commons. So here at the upper level, again, you can see a lot of shelving. We have a lot of our collection up here as well, but I think, and I'll let Andrew talk about it, I think the upper level has really been designed around more organized gathering spaces and study spaces for students. So let's start down here at the end, and I'll have Andrew talk a little bit about how we put this together.
So this area, this is going to a variety of different head-down spaces. So you can see these kind of modular spaces. And then we move into larger spaces where we have larger gathering spaces, but we have an activity zone where we have 3 open study rooms so that there's no door, but it allows all the mixing and matching that we expect students to be able to do when they're collaborating. So you can see that we have activity tables here that allows them to group, but then they can move things around, whiteboards or other kind of seating in the area.
Yeah, and the other part about it, and I'm surprised actually that effective studying can take place, because if I were a student and I had views like this outside the study rooms, I'm not sure I'd spend much time looking at my book. I'd be looking out there. But again, it was to invite light into the building. It was to make it open and airy. And students have taken right to it, and they've reorganized this. The ability to move monitors around, to move whiteboards around so that students can do work together, the collaborative kind of engaged learning that really makes a difference has been just, it's phenomenal. And the students are really appreciating it. They took right to it. They knew exactly what to do.
We have 6 group study rooms here that are enclosed with the door, traditional, but these are able to be reserved by students online, so they can reserve the spaces for their use ahead of time. And we provide, I think we have 4 that are reservable, and then 2 are still on a first-come, first-served basis.
The rooms were designed for the walls to be writable, so it's not just whiteboards and plug-in movable monitors, but the walls, they're special pens that we can write and students can study by writing on the walls, and then we get to erase them later.
And each room has a different kind of furniture, so that it's not a standard just a table and 4 chairs. Each one has a variety of different kind of furniture formulations, again, to appeal to different forms of studying and gathering.
So again, we've got different areas, and this is a quiet area that gets used a lot already here on the upper level. But again, with thinking about the organized study spaces, and you've seen the study rooms, both the ones traditional with glass windows and doors, and then the open ones, we have 2 instruction rooms up here that are both designed to help teach modern digital instruction, but also for use for classes. And most recently, as the college transitioned from in-person learning to remote learning, these were the sites where faculty were in the classroom learning about the techniques and asking the questions to make sure they could get their courses online. And so these rooms have been designed with movable furniture, with technology on all the walls. And I will tell you, I'm teaching a class this semester, and so I sat in this room to get up to speed on some of the technologies that I could use in my class. And the ability to see 20 or 30 faculty, and we've had even more in some of the other sessions, in this room all at one time, working on the monitors, in a classroom, very much the way students do, was really, this room has already shown its value, and I can't wait to see it in use next year. So I guess one of the most distinctive features of the whole building, and you can see it from the outside, is the Class of '69 Great Room. And so we really designed this space to be a reading room. It really is like the living room for campus. And students come up here, and again, you can see the variety of furniture, and they gather and talk and read, and it's generally quiet, but the chairs we've got lined up against the windows are always occupied every single time. And probably from the inside, the most distinctive part of it are the views out to campus. And so again, when we talk about this facility, the John Kennedy IV Learning Commons as the heart of campus, it's not just the center of academic activity. It really is the center of campus. You can see almost every building on Bridgewater's campus from this very spot, and we designed it that way on purpose, all the way from the Center for Engaged Learning to Wright and Heritage to Bowman to McKinney across the street. We've got Blue Ridge and Rebecca, the KCC, and you can look across the street and you can see Nininger and Yount, and if you lean way out against the glass, you can even catch the side of Memorial Hall. This really is a spectacular place. And Andrew, I think before students left, even they were in this building up until the time they had to leave campus.
Yes, the building was completely full when they received the email that we were moving to online learning. But the thrill of walking through the building was that all the spaces were being used exactly the way we intended them. Every nook in the back of this room was being used by students. Every area, every seat was filled. The group study rooms were packed beyond the seating capacity of students enjoying their group study spaces just the way we had hoped.
As well as I knew the John Kenney Ford Learning Commons, this facility before it opened, it exceeded expectations. When you walk in, you will go, wow, because it's doing exactly what we wanted to do and then some. It's a spectacular place. So I hope you'll come and visit campus soon, and when you do, make sure you look and think of all of the donors who made this possible. We've not focused on it on this tour, but we have plaques celebrating the generosity, the belief, the faith, the inspiration, and the financial support of donors all around this building. We tell their stories because their stories now are part of the college's story. And so when you do come and visit, make sure you look and read about those who believe so deeply in what Bridgewater College does, believe so deeply in the success of our students, that they made this vision, this dream, a reality.